This is the midterm part. Well, it's all been the midterm part, but, right? 5 cultural views of addiction. Addiction is sin, willful behavior. So if you see addiction as sin, then the solution is to punish the addict. If you see addiction as disease, the solution is to treat the addict with 12-step based treatment, and we'll just treat street drugs and alcohol, but ignore coffee, cigarettes, and your diet, like sugar. Like I have a client that, okay, I basically said, she said her problem is sugar. Yeah, well, I just ate a whole tray of cookies that I baked. And then there's the bag of marshmallows. Wait, cookies plus marshmallows? Where's the quarter ice cream? Well, that was next. Okay, so here's what you do. Limit yourself to 1 teaspoon of sugar in your coffee. No rock stars. Oh, about the sugar-free. No rock stars. No quadruple shot espressos. Her thing was meth and heroin. So, right? You're going to get, the sugar is basically a drug. Yeah, you're stressed. Okay? Sugar does turn off stress. That's why it works. But you're kind of overamping on it. But that's not within a 12-step framework, right? Because we allow tobacco and coffee and sugar, and we don't necessarily tell you about your diet. So, addiction as maladaptive behavior, that is, you learned a bad way of coping skills. So the solution is to treat the addict pro-social adaptive behaviors and skill sets. So emotional, cognitive skills, which take time and best done one-on-one. Cognitive behavioral therapy, motivational interviewing, basically because the scientific crowd doesn't like the higher power piece within 12-step. Because the scientists don't feel comfortable talking about spiritual stuff. Because you can't prove it, that it exists. Now, the reason I'm capturing it like this, that these are cultural views. Cultures talk about what is normal and real. Notice in nowhere of these constructs does it talk about systemic discrimination. Not part of the construct. Because the people coming up with 3 are already above discrimination. They don't have to worry about it. They got money. Their money insulates them. Look, Dr. Bob and Bill W. Stockbroker and a doctor. Discrimination is not part of their construct. Sexism is not part of their construct. Great model. You don't have to be a rich stockbroker or doctor to get clean and sober, but there's stuff they miss. Yeah, so the problem with also 3, we ain't got time and you ain't got money, so here are these pills, which, by the way, might have side effects, which may make it difficult to learn or practice the skill, which we also ain't got time to teach you. So, oh, look, it's the holiday coming up. Never mind. Our hour's up. Come back next week. If I sound cynical, just I've had to repair this stuff. So, 2 non-Western views. Addiction is life out of balance. This is out of the Native American Wellbriety movement. So part of it is addiction is life out of balance. You're strung out because you have a crazy life. So koyaanisqatsi is the Hopi word for this, and there's 13 translations into English. So I've just given you 5 of them. So it's a crazy life, life in turmoil, life disintegrating, life out of balance, a state of life that calls for another way of living, and there's like another 8. But those pretty much hit the high points. You're strung out because your life is out of balance. In fact, your whole society is out of balance. The solution: cultural practices outside of Western civilization that restore a spiritual balance and right relationship to natural processes. So tobacco as a sacrament versus tobacco and addiction. So as a Native American practitioner myself, we understand there is an addictive use of tobacco and a sacred use of tobacco. In a sacred use of tobacco, you don't inhale and you ain't praying every 5 minutes. We didn't invent Marlboros. White folks did. For profit. No, this is a sacrament. Sacred mind. It's to tune you into your breath that you're sharing with everybody else. TP medicine meeting. So medicine is peyote. Which again, Westerners are not going to get down with because peyote makes you throw up. It's also a psychedelic. And the throw up experience is part of the ritual that says you're getting rid of your sickness. That's what, you're literally sick. And you're throwing up and you're seeing parts of your life using this psychedelic, and then we can talk about it because you've had the experience. So, peyote, mescaline is non-addicting. Never had a public health problem with it. Right. Why would people try and knock over a 7-Eleven or a bank for a substance that makes you throw up? Americans are not into pain and inconvenience. Natives are. Well, not that we're masochists. It's just like, no, that's part of life. Life is uncomfortable. You have to go through the uncomfortable to see the truth sometimes. So, also the little smoke as an ally, that is marijuana, as an ally versus countercultural Prozac. So an ally goes like this. It's a powerful plant that the drug substance within it can open your vision. But if you use it too much, it clouds your vision. So among the Lakota, the only person allowed to use it was the medicine person to seek vision for other people. And they're not seeking vision every day or every 5 minutes. See? Versus countercultural Prozac. Oh, you're using weed to chill your anger. How's that working out for you? Not so much. See, I may seem angry, but I'm just not angry at y'all. I'm just angry at injustice. Focus. Till it becomes just. Addiction as weapon. That is, addiction to legal and illegal drugs is profitable. And also in red, addiction is slavery. So that's an African-American construct. So the solution then is active, spiritually based resistance against the ism-based cultures, which promote addiction, codependency, and promote self, cultural, historical, spiritual, and interpersonal knowledge, skills, and abilities, which develop self-sufficiency, interdependency, cultural proficiency, economic and political independence. So you don't have to do the subtext in the midterm, you just have to do the 4 constructs and be able to know what the differences are, as well as, hint, hint, name the fourfold way, as well as the shadow sides of the fourfold way, which meant you have to have read the book. Not all the way through, but just enough to get that.
Is it open book?
It's open book. Don't share your answers, because they're often wrong. Do your own work. Anyway, this is going to be up, so I'm going to move on, because we got 9 minutes. So just to recap. So for example, there's a recovery organization, the Well-Variety Movement. So this came out of 6 Nations, Handsome Lake, who was addicted to alcohol in the 18th century. So Native Americans have resisted the effects of alcohol in native societies and cultures from early in the new European arrival on Turtle Island here. Handsome Lake, a Seneca from the area that's now upstate New York, began to teach about alcohol recovery following his own successful sobriety and recovery from the effects of alcohol. And part of his recovery solution is, okay, we can't just get off of alcohol. We also have to build the parts of our culture that resist alcoholism and all the things that go along with it, including domestic violence and rape and all these other things. That's what we also have to deal with as well. So it's not just the substance that's the problem. It's the loss of a healthy culture. Now, the question becomes then, and this is what my professors at OSU failed to ask. I said, look, so what are you proposing as a healthy culture for white people? Do you really want me to answer that? Because y'all should be answering that. But y'all ain't asking the question. Your kids are asking the question. The hippies in the 60s were asking the question. Nixon wasn't. He just made peyote illegal along with heroin. Why? Oh, because we don't want you acting like them Indians, because we need you to consume more stuff. Buy more stuff or the terrorists win. Is that who you are, really? What you bought? Are you your designer label, or are you human? How do we teach you how to become human? Can you become human acting like us? Maybe. But in Indian country, one of the things we talk about is these folks are sitting around a drum, like at a powwow. And they basically say, within Indian country, we say, everybody has a drum. White folks lost their drum. So you got to create your own drum. Not use ours. You're welcome to, but you need to create your own drum. So not just sit around drumming. Copy. Not just sit around drumming. Create your own rhythm. Connect to your own heart. That's part of consensus reality. There is a tradition. Y'all had a culture. And it's older than America. So figure out what that is, or recreate those like we have to do in the 21st century. So well-briety means to be both sober and well. It means to have come through recovery from chemical dependency and to be a recovered person who's going beyond survival to thriving in his or her life and life in the community. The well part of well-briety means to live the healthy parts of the principles, laws, and values of traditional culture. It means to heal from dysfunctional behaviors other than chemical dependency, as well as chemical dependency itself. This includes codependency, ACOA behavior, domestic family violence, gambling, and other shortcomings of character. So you can see within the construct, this is already moving beyond 12-step. Because 12-step doesn't engage what does it mean to be healthy culture. Beyond our chemical use. What does that mean? So these other things that are within being able to determine in the midterm the difference between ingestive addictions, so 3 types of addictions. Ingestive addictions, things you take into your body, in other words, also known as substance abuse, eating disorders, socially promoted addictions. So in the things that happen within my office that people talk about, alcohol, marijuana, heroin, methamphetamine, recovery support, cultural adjustment, tobacco, club drugs, anorexia, and so eating disorders. So ingestive addictions, things you take into your body. So this is also in the midterm. So factors in substance abuse addictions. There's 3 of them. Genetic predisposition, which is only proven with alcohol. So all you inherit is increased tolerance. Behavioral and environmental. So behaviors are role modeled and substances are in your environment. So that's why those 2 are together. And third, the addictive potential of the substance. So there's no genetic predisposition for crack cocaine. We haven't proven it with tobacco, right? But we understand it with alcohol. There's no reason why it hasn't, why it wouldn't transfer to other drugs. We just haven't done the work, the scientific work, so we can say that it's true. Because the standard that we're using is we need a long-term study, 20 years, that has to be replicated. Process addictions, things you do with your body which engage your addictive attention, engage the brain reward system. There's an emotional rush, there's a letdown, you're always seeking the high. Things like gambling, internet surfing, chat rooms, porn, shopping, gambling, spending, credit, chronic debting, certain forms of religion. Sure, I'm Jesus. That's why I need your wife and an arsenal. The aliens are coming. Kill yourself to join them. Behind their ship in the comet. Yeah, right. Poly, not addicted to parrots or plastic. Polypharmacy, that is, you're taking many drugs to achieve a combination effect. Polyprocess, you're engaging in many types of process addictions, workaholism, internet relationships, gambling, and ingestive and processed addictions together. So alcohol, gambling, within casino, cocaine, meth, workaholism, in the timber industry, comfort feeding at work to support your workaholism. So 3 types of addictive behaviors: ingestive, process, and poly addiction. And cross addictions, which is not addiction to Jesus, it's originally applied to drugs within a drug class. That is, tolerance to one induces addiction to all. So example, benzodiazepines and alcohol, ADHD meds and Ritalin, Cylert to methamphetamine, and certain ingestive addictions make you prone to process addictions and vice versa. So example, clean and sober workaholics or chronic debtors, sexaholics, relationship addicts, religious fanaticism. So we're not getting people off of drugs so that they become diabetic workaholics. That's not the idea. The idea is balance, health. So, cross addictions. So then you also have to watch out for addictive organizations, but that's moving beyond the scope of the midterm, and we'll continue on next Thursday. So here's the midterm.